Sharks. Um, my throat gets a little scratchy these days. It's part of why I wasn't doing the set reviews for a couple weeks. I'm skipping the YouTube buffer for a second. I'm skipping any filings with respect to categorizations that might lead to, YouTube algorithm access later or whatever the hell. I'm just speaking my mind, all right? Because y'all have been with me on this Twitter experiment of mine, YouTube experiment of mine. Y'all have been here. This is not the video where I'm like, I'm done, I'm leaving. This is not that. All right. So don't. This is not the sad, teary goodbye. Do not interpret it that way. This is just, oh, can I vent? Can I please vent? And it's like, oh, on so many fronts, I'm trying. I'm trying. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to take it all in. I'm trying to be realistic. I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm I'm trying to be non-optimistic if it doesn't call for it, Like, oh man, there's a lot of information and I don't like it when misinformation spreads, but at this point we have to try to be on the same page. We have to try to be realistic. We have to try to be proactive, and with that said, I'm gonna here's what I think. Here's how I feel. The case is really a wrench. Like, anything you think about the case, first of all, I mean the lawsuit, that is. Anything you think about that has to be, give it 10% more importance than you currently do. Whether you're bullish or you're like, this doesn't have any legs, or you think it does. Like, give it 10% more than you already give it, because if anything, it'll probably just dampen any marketing efforts. It'll only be a caveat, because like The Verge wants to publish that article, and like it or not, people saw it. And it's not, I'm just in my kitchen hanging, but like it or not, people saw it. It's, you want to go with, I saw somebody say the thing that I was going to say, no such thing as bad press. Well, it's not good press. It's not the brand we're running on. It's not community folk. Like, it might work for like a former president who will remain nameless, but like, it doesn't work for every brand, So with that in mind, I think it'll only further in people's minds that Top Shot is not viable, And I think that's got to be your biggest concern if you have one. Is Top Shot viable? Like, is the market going to be viable? Is the marketing going to be viable? Is the product going to be viable as a collectible, as a game, in whatever way that it is? Like, is there enough of anything? And the answer, I will get into that. But like the case, like, I think it's very telling. I think there's a difference, I think it's very telling that the judge said something about, if, a collectible has value regardless of whether the manufacturer maintains it. Because after it's out of the box, it's no longer within the purview of Topps or Upper Deck to maintain the physical card, But on a blockchain, the collectible, and it was not really, the judge was not having the concept of a collectible, really, at least in his initial opinion. That's what this was. What was I going to say? Yeah, the collectible, if not for the Flow blockchain, it wouldn't exist. The NFT would not exist. Now, this is a problem endemic to every single NFT that there is, on every single chain that there is. Right now, we can't transfer NFTs between chains. Like, not that I have, like, there's custodial issues where I understand the company that has an agreement with a major brand wanting to maintain the agreement that they signed with the brand. I understand that. I think you couldn't expect anything other than that, really. I mean, they have obligations that are laid out in the contract, whatever that agreement is, But what was I going to say? Yeah, there's no denying in my mind that they have a lot of influence over what the price is that we're going to be able to resell, what the price is that we're going to have to buy in order to get access to the new IP that is reproduced, what we're going to have to get, like the challenge requirements. I mean, theoretically, in a completely decentralized scheme, I guess that's what they kept calling it in the brief, in a completely decentralized product game, we'd get to make our own challenge requirements, right? We get to, I mean, to an extent we do. We have some flexibility, but like that's on Top Shot to maintain certain market controls. Excuse me. And they can't do that without asserting their own um, parameters over our collectible. So in a way, it's not a pure collectible. I can't claim that, and that's why when the judge said that, I was like, oh man, like we what a he's right. We do not have unilateral control over the rights, over anything other than the reproduced copy that even within product. I mean, they've made it so that they incentivize you with TSS to keep it in product, but even so, it's like there are limits. There are limits that we have not solved. They have not solved for. They obviously made steps to make it non-custodial by opening it up to Blockto and Gaia and things like that. Like some of the things in the brief are no longer accurate, but the principle is the same. Without Jabber's, like the efforts of others clause, which is part of the expecting profits from. I mean, yeah, that statement being as funny as it is to most of us, the expecting profits from the efforts of others clause of the Howey test, like, yeah, we do rely on the efforts of others. That is real. So I hesitate because I know on some level that that's a real point of contention for both sides. I'm not obviously revealing anything because I'm not part of the case, so I can speak my mind here. But it's like last thing I'm going to do is tell you what anybody wants to hear. So that's real. I don't know how it'll play out. It may come down to the judge's preferences. We'll have to see. I just think there's validity to both sides. I really do. And it bugs me because I don't know how that's going to go. It's so entirely out of my purview. Like, what would possess these people to bring the suit in the first place? It's like, because they want their money back? Because, like, what are the effects on us as collectors, as customers? Like the effect is we don't know, and that's unsettling, and it's not great. Second thing, I'll talk about the layoffs. Nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see that, and refocus on our core product is. Anybody could say that about any team, about any product, about anything. That's not an answer. That's a platitude. That's a punchline. It's not content. It's not useful. It's not purposeful. It's just a line. They just fed us a line. Luke, I like Luke. I don't have a problem with Luke at this point in time, but like he fed us. When he said that in the Discord, I'm like, all right, that's a line. Okay, and all of the sort of subtext we're going to have to just swallow because they're intent on doing things. I mean, like, listen, the product itself, they're intent on doing things when they do them, not before. And they're not going to tell you about it before they're absolutely certain they can execute it. And I think that's been a real positive of Series 4, but like, wow, like this is the time where you do kind of need some reassurance. And honestly, I don't think there's any to be had. I think the people who are waiting for reassurance, you can't have any. I don't think there's any to be had. Like, what is anyone going to say to you? Oh, we're confident this lawsuit is going to be whatever. Like, or, oh, like leadership, like, because the solutions just aren't there. Like, if Roham's got to be somewhat nervous, like, even if it's 1%, like Roham doesn't have answers right now. And that's another thing. So Janie was, I think Janie's energy was just what we needed. I think Janie was one of us. I think Janie was great. But it seems from checking out her LinkedIn, I was just watching a video that she posted on like her lessons in Web3 marketing, which, I guess we know that she learned quite a few of those working with us, I guess. So yeah, she's got an experience in that department. Yeah, she has moved on. I guess her reasoning being to spend more time with her family. BT Dubs, Daryl Morey used that line too before he went to go work for the Sixers. He was, when he left the Rockets, he was like, "I'm leaving to spend more time with my family." 2 weeks later, he was with the Sixers. Okay, I'm not not one-to-one thing, but I'm mostly a joke. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could be a line. Like, it could be she jumped ship. She's no longer at Dapper Labs. I was wrong. She was at Dapper Labs in November when she came back from the break. I guess maybe not even as the GM. So if we don't need a GM, then that's okay. I'm okay with that. The ship has been running fairly smoothly. Like the execution has been way better than this time last year. Like the games, the leaderboards. We were on a high like 72 hours ago with the coming off the All Star leaderboards and the game being what it was. And I mean, it's crazy how quickly the mood can shift. The market reflected that a bit. It wasn't even really down as much as like in December before a lot of things were locked. So the locking has stopped the bleeding for a lot of our moments. Like that's a reality. Like obviously it's scary to think that these moments are locked like within a vault that like can't be unlocked because they won't let us. There's fear there. I don't know what happens if Roham says, you know what, I'm gonna let you guys unlock because I'm gonna let you guys unlock. I mean, that would be Armageddon. Can you imagine? Yeah, I can't. I really can't. So in a way, we ought to thank God for that because I think the results on the market don't reflect the actual drop in sentiment. So okay, whatever. What are we gonna do about that? Sit here and pray, I guess. For our money. Which we do not expect profits at this point. I'll tell you that right now. So yeah, insofar as we have control over any of this, and I'm exceedingly unhappy about the amount of control I have over the situation, or increasingly unhappy over it. Then we can do that. We can try to earn. It gets hard, but we can try. We can do what we need to do, whether it's whatever decisions we make about our portfolio. We can do that. We can try to stay the course. We can have optimism. We can hope the case goes away. We can hope that whoever's lawyers you want to be better than the other side's lawyers are better, and that the judge is persuaded thusly to do whatever you want him to do, which honestly I don't even know which side I'm supposed to be on here. Like there's arguments for both sides, and the fact that the plaintiffs are collectors, like I almost like, do you want this? Like what do you want? What are you looking to derive from the situation? Because I don't even know. They seem to, which is great for them. And so yeah, it's just like, God, what we wanted, what we needed was to reach critical mass, thus that we could achieve even half the active users of the top mint. So there's like, in some cases, there's 2 or 3 people for each, mint. So thus that there are 2 or 3 buyers, and 1 or 2 sellers. So that ratio is right, not so that there's decreasing buyers and, the margin had gotten ever closer. Like all things being equal, things being what they were. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but even so, like buyers had legitimately started to catch sellers, and it was great. I was happy. It was like, we're coming back. Like a week ago, I was like, let's go, and now I'm like, oh, and I can't. Who wants to take any more of this? So I think I may set up a Spaces. Shark Space has been long overdue. All the things I want to do have been long overdue because I'm just waiting for some normalcy. I'm waiting to be able to use my resources in the best possible time. I'm just like and I've been gifted resources as a result of sort of the assets I've moved around, and I want to use them on behalf of those, behalf of the Shark project to grow it. But when's the best time to do that? I don't think it's happened yet. I don't know. We may have missed it. It may have been 3 years ago. I think it is real to hedge. I think I understand it if that's what you're planning on doing. I think it's understandable. And I think that we're not dead, but we ought to just try right now. We ought to just not add any insult to injury and just try, because we know what this product is. We know how great it is. Like, it's just, everything's got to come together, and right now it feels like everything is coming apart, and it's like, well, it's not supposed to be this way, this isn't how it was supposed to go, but we just got to hold on. I've personally in my life, I've been through tougher situations than this. I've been through tougher problems than this. This is not gut wrenching in a way. It's just you know, it's just capital. It's just something that means something to us. But it was an experiment, and we believe it was, and we're early and a little too early maybe, and we don't know. So we've got to just hold on and hope that everything sorts itself out, because in a lot of ways it's not up to us. And the only thing we can really control is how we respond to adversity. And I think some of the greatest people I know respond to adversity with a lot of strength and a lot of fortitude and a lot of conviction and a lot of effort. A lot of just like, what do I do? How do I prepare for this? How do I and just a lot of mental and emotional strength to just be like, no, I'm not gonna. You're not gonna fold me. I'm gonna come out of this all right, or I'm at least gonna believe and then be prepared. You know, it's that old proverb, trust but verify, right? That's what I try to do. I try to trust but verify, and I did a lot of one on the facets that I know to be true, and now I think it's fair to do more of the other. Whatever decisions you guys are about to make, I hope you make them, and I hope you are happy with it, because there's only so much we can do. I don't know if that's something you take solace in or not, but there's only so much we can do, and we have to wait. So yeah, enjoy your weekend. I need just like a break to recoup and regroup a bit. But I hope that everyone at Dapper, if any of them see this, are doing, not in the complete throes of depression. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see anybody breaking down over this. I know that there's real pain to be had. Let's acknowledge that. Let's acknowledge that. No, it's not just basketball NFTs. It's people's savings. It's real. It's beyond people's discretionary. We ought to acknowledge that. People really did this with NFTs across the board. So we ought to be mindful. We ought to be sensitive, and we ought to just hope that the folks in charge can just plug the leaks, because I thought we were going in a good direction. And well, adversity hits every company at one stage or another, and every person at one stage or another. So just another challenge we got to do. No pun intended. Another challenge we got to complete. So just strength to everybody. And if I get that Shark Spaces going later tonight, I'll let you know. I'm thinking maybe it'll be a late one, like midnight or something, but I don't know. So anyway, continued blessings, and yeah, good luck to everybody with the anthology, man. And if anybody hits, I saw Trevor James Dillon Bond did. Congrats, man. And yeah, best of luck, and hope everybody has a good weekend. So just stay up, guys. We need to just finish strong and power through.